what I will encourage everyone is that to focus on what are the requirements that you have to fulfill whenever you make a report. That is the more critical point, because whenever you're doing a profession, when you're practicing this registered valuer profession, what we have seen is in the past is that professions are getting more and more regulated, primarily because everyone is interested to maintain certain quality and maintain certain standards of the reports that we come out with. So in case you look at chartered accountancy profession, you will see a lot of regulation which has happened through NFRA there recently. If you look at resolution professionals, if you go to IBBI website, you will see a host of disciplinary orders for resolution professionals. So every professional now is supposed to act very diligently with a lot of care. So make sure that you are well read with respect to the company's registered valuers and valuation rules, because in case you're not, then you might miss something, and that might just be taken as a gross negligence against you. Next we should come to SARFAESI. SARFAESI is basically the short form for the Securitization and Reconstruction of Financial Assets and Enforcement of Security Interest Act. There are primarily three parts to this act. One is the securitization and reconstruction of financial assets. Second is enforcement of security interest. And lastly, there is formation of this entity called Central Registry, which is also called CRISIL. CRISIL. So basically, I will then move forward on this. We will talk about this act. So why did this act came in? So this came in to allow a host of things. So what is securitization? Maybe I will ask somebody who knows. Maybe somebody can share what they think of securitization. What do you mean by securitization? So securitization is the act where what you're doing essentially is that, say you have given a loan to X. Now, when you say I want to securitize that loan, what you're doing is you're making it a transferable security. So whenever you say I want to securitize the transaction, you're saying that I will have a security then once I securitize my loan to this person, and then I can sell that security in the market to somebody else. So what is happening more is that where various asset reconstruction companies in the country are selling their loan portfolio to somebody else, securitizing it. And the objective behind that is to kind of liquidate that asset sooner as compared to the ultimate time, or whenever it will be realized in the course of its life cycle. Coming to next part, that is that's securitization. Basically, then we look at securitization of financial assets, the acquisition of a debt or financial asset by issue of security receipts representing undivided interest in such financial assets, or otherwise by any security or reconstruction company by issue of debenture or bonds, or any other security or cash, or by entering into an agreement to pay in future. The securitization of reconstruction company will step in to the shoes of the lenders. So basically, whichever company has purchased that loan will now be fully responsible and fall into the shoes of the lenders. When you look at the measures, proper management, takeover, change in management, sale or lease, rescheduling, settlement, taking possession, etc., that is all part of measures that can be taken for securitization and reconstruction of financial assets. The second part is, of course, as I said, enforcement of security interest, and the last part is central registry, that is CERSAI. So what do you mean by security enforcement of security interest? Anyone who understands what do you mean what do we mean when we say security interest? Any participant who can tell what is security? Okay, what is security? Let's
सिक्योरिटी मीन्स जैसे सपोज आपने बताया कि किसी ने लोन लिया, ठीक
hmm.
है, तो जो सेकंड मतलब एक थर्ड पार्टी है, मतलब दैट विल टेक केयर ऑफ कि भाई वो मतलब सिक्योर कर रही है कि भाई हाँ मतलब एक सिक्योरिटी दे रही है, लाइक ऐसा कुछ है।
तो जब भी कोई लेंडर लोन देता है
कैश को
तो वो
रेज करना
लेंडर,
बेसिकली,
हाँ जी,
कैश को रेज करना बाय सेलिंग, मतलब वो जो असेट्स हैं उसके बेसिस पे।
नहीं वो तो सिक्योरिटाइजेशन हो गई सर, सिक्योरिटी अलग है, सिक्योरिटाइजेशन अलग है।
Sir, any property which we want to mortgage.
Perfect, sir. That is the dot on. That is what it is, Rahulji. Security interest is the security which is with the lender, that if the borrower fails to pay the loan, then what can the lender sell to realize the money that the lender gave to the borrower? That is the security interest. Security interest can be a property, security interest can be a motor vehicle, security interest can be some other random asset. But the point is, what do you mean by enforcement of security interest? Now you know what is security interest. What do you mean by enforcement of security interest? अब किसी ने डिफॉल्ट कर दिया,
मेकिंग मतलब
अच्छा कोई पे नहीं कर पाया तो उसको फिर उससे रिकवर करेंगे ऐसा?
एग्जैक्टली, सो एनफोर्समेंट ऑफ सिक्योरिटी इंटरेस्ट इज कि अगर कोई पे नहीं कर पाया तो बैंक अपना मॉर्गेज, बैंक अपनी सिक्योरिटी को एक्सरसाइज कैसे करे, क्योंकि अब कोई पे नहीं कर पाया तो बैंक के पास तो एक पड़े कागज पड़े, मॉर्गेज पड़ी है, किसी इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी के कागज पड़े हैं, तो वो कागज तो किसी वैल्यू के नहीं है, उस कागज के अगेंस्ट बैंक का ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या है? बैंक का ये ऑब्जेक्टिव थोड़ी ना कि मैं अब लोन अगर कोई मुझे वापस नहीं देगा तो मैं उसकी प्रॉपर्टी रख लूंगा अपने पास, ये तो ऑब्जेक्टिव है नहीं बैंक का। तो बैंक का ऑब्जेक्टिव फाइनली ये है कि मुझे उसको एनफोर्स करना है अपनी सिक्योरिटी इंटरेस्ट को। बैंक ने जो मॉर्गेज ली हुई थी उस मॉर्गेज के लिए बैंक उस अपनी मॉर्गेज को एक्सरसाइज करके अपना वो एसेट बेच के वो पैसा रियलाइज करेगा और उस अकाउंट के जितना भी ड्यूज हैं उसके अगेंस्ट सेटल कर देगा। This is what is enforcement of security interest. So before this act came into picture, before SARFAESI came into picture, the security interest was enforced through the courts. पहले कोर्ट्स के थ्रू होता था, नॉर्मल कोर्ट्स के थ्रू, फिर डीआरटीज के थ्रू होने लग गया, डेट रिकवरी ट्रिब्यूनल्स के थ्रू। उसके बाद जो है, उसके बाद ये एक्ट लेके आए। इस एक्ट में उन्होंने क्या कह दिया? उस एक्ट में उन्होंने ये कह दिया कि अब बैंक को किसी कोर्ट में जाने की जरूरत नहीं है। अगर एक बैंक है या एनबीएफसीज हैं कुछ जो उन्होंने लिस्ट की हुई हैं, तो वो सीधा का सीधा जा सकती हैं अपना अपना उनके पास अगर सिक्योरिटी इंटरेस्ट है, उनके पास एक एनपीए है, तो उनके लिए एक प्रोसीजर उन्होंने डिफाइन किया और ये कह दिया कि अब वो सीधा सीधा अपनी सिक्योरिटी को पैसा रियलाइज कर सकती है विदाउट गोइंग टू अ कोर्ट। This is what this act or this is what enforcement of security interest is all about. So क्या क्या होना चाहिए? एनपीए होना चाहिए, नॉन परफॉर्मिंग एसेट होना चाहिए, आरबीआई का कैटेगराइज नॉन परफॉर्मिंग एसेट होना चाहिए। इट शुड बी अ सिक्योर्ड एसेट that is a property on which security interest is created. Then it should be immovable and movable property. It can be anything. It can be any debt or receivables, intangible assets. It can be anything. Security interest को define किया कि right, title and interest of any kind whatsoever upon property created in favor of any secured creditor and includes any mortgage, charge, hypothecation, assignment other than those specified in section 31. Secured creditor means बैंक के अंदर आ जाता है बैंकिंग कंपनीज जो आरबीआई में डिफाइंड है, एसबीआई आ जाता है, एसबीआई की सब्सिडीज अब खत्म ही हो गई हैं, बड़ी पुराना है, कोऑपरेटिव बैंक्स, रीजनल रूरल बैंक्स, और दीज आर बैंक्स। Then it also allows financial institutions, that is public financial institutions as per Companies Act, including and the RDD-BFI Act, and these are basically IFC, 41 FIs, ICICI was an FI financial institution, IDBI is an FI financial institution, and so on. So 41 FIs are also notified. So public financial institution PFIs will include all these. These are 52 in number. RDD-FBFI Act will also give all these financial institutions, and then IFCI, then we have 41 NBFCs which are notified. Consortium of groups of banks or FIs, debenture trustees, securitization or reconstruction company, all these are secured creditors, and they can avail the benefits, or they are eligible to participate or exercise the rights given under this act to exercise a mortgage without going to the court. Section 13. Yes, sir.
Sir, one question about NPA, just for the general knowledge. When a bank declares any asset or account NPA, like any timeline or some definition, amount or something?
There is RBI has its guidelines on when an NPA will be made NPA, and currently the definition is that it should be an asset where the banks have not realized any amount, not they have the account has been outstanding for more than 3 months. I think this is the definition right now, and that's how an NPA is defined. These days, there is also this concept of SMA 0, SMA 1, SMA 2, SMA 3. So basically, that is how then the NPA is defined.
Okay,
So it
sir.
is basically an outstanding which is not being paid for more than 90 days. That becomes NPA. So if we talk about enforcement of security interest, the section 13(1) talks about security interest in any asset in favor of any secured creditor may be enforced without the intervention of the court. Borrower under a liability to secured creditor under a security agreement makes a default classification as non-performing asset. So that is what is done by the borrower in that case. The notice to borrower to discharge full liabilities with a 60-day notice is what is given. Then the notice to mention various details, including amounts payable, secured asset, intended to be enforced, and all that. If on receipts of this notice, borrower makes any objection, then that objection needs to be replied by the bank within 15 days. Or in case the reply does not give the borrower any right to appeal in DRT, but the point is that the reply should be normally submitted by the bank. Section 13(4) talks about borrower failing to pay in full after notice. So in that case, the creditor may take possession, right to transfer, lease, sale and realize, take over the management, appoint any manager after possession, notice to a person. All that can be done by a creditor, by a borrower, by the person who is supposed to take charge, the bank, the lender. Payment made to creditor by any person is a discharge full of his liability. So if any person who is required to pay he pays, then that's discharge of his liability. If any sale is postponed due to want of bid as specified reserve price, any officer of the bank can bid or for this immovable property. So the bank is allowed to bid for the property and use it for their own purpose. If the bank becomes purchaser, the purchase price shall be adjusted towards an amount of the claim of the bank. Any transfer or secured asset after taking possession would be valid as if made by the owner. All costs, charges, expenses, etc. to be recovered from borrower. The recovery is first to apply to cost, then to dues, and balance to be returned to person entitled in accordance with the rights and interests. If due is paid in full before the date fixed, so then the assets shall not be sold. In case more than one bank, then 60% or earlier to 75%, 60% of the value of outstanding have to say that, okay, it should be whatever they say will be binding on all. And in case dues are not recovered in full out of sale proceeds of the assets, balance can be recovered through DRT. Bank can proceed against guarantors or sell the pledged assets without taking measures under Section 13(4). Bank can take action through one or more officers. Bank borrower not to sell, lease, or otherwise transfer any asset after 60 days notice. The CMM or the DM we can assist the taking possession of the assets. So wherever the possession is required to be taken, this is the process that the bank will request in writing to the CMM, DMM in a specified format. The DM shall take possession, or the DM shall provide support to take possession, and then the DM shall forward such asset to the bank. The DM may authorize any officer subordinate to him for this. DM may use force. DM action cannot be questioned in any court. Manner and effect of takeover of management. So after the management is taken over, bank can appoint directors in the company after publishing notice in newspaper. Bank can appoint administrator of the business in case of non-corporate borrowers. All existing directors shall be deemed to have vacated the office before the publication of notice. The newly appointed directors shall have all normal business power. No power of the shareholders, no resolution to be made effective. So all these are powers of the bank. There is a right to appeal under Section 17. The borrower or any person affected by the action of the bank can appeal before DRT within 45 days. In case the DRT gives a reply, or the DRT, whatever it does, that can go into appeal. So right to appeal is within 30 days of the DRT order, and the appellate tribunal shall not entertain the appeal unless 50% of the amount claimed is deposited by the borrower, and the appellate tribunal can reduce the deposit by order to up to 25% in case of special circumstances. Right to lodge a caveat, 18C, you can lodge a caveat in the DRT so that there is no action taken by any DRT without hearing the representative of the banker. And the borrower can claim compensation by way of a petition to DRT or appellate tribunal in case of any wrong action of the bank for any losses. SARFAESI Act is not applicable on contracts under Indian Contract Act, Sale of Goods Act, conditional sales such as hire purchase and leasing transactions. Aircraft cannot be acquired and sold under SARFAESI. Ships cannot be acquired and sold under SARFAESI. In case the loan amount does not exceed 1 lakh, that is also not something where SARFAESI can be used. SARFAESI cannot be used security. In case the amount outstanding is less than 20% of the principal amount and the interest applied, then SARFAESI cannot be used. So it provides a protection to the bank and its officers for any action. So Section 32 says that banks are taking action or doing whatever they are doing in good faith, and it basically prevents any it does not allow any suit, prosecution, etc., which can be started against bank officers. Provides that no civil court have jurisdiction to entertain any suit, no injunction can be granted. Only DRTs or appellate tribunals can have powers over this. High courts, civil courts, all those courts have no power. Period of limitation is, of course, applicable as per these miscellaneous provisions. So that was SARFAESI for you. Any questions on this?